Today, we're going to talk to Gene. He's in Massachusetts in the United States, but he's originally from France, and he has a wonderful story to share with us about rheumatoid arthritis symptom reversal. So, we're going to talk about where he was at when he first started working with us and then where he is at today. He has a great story. He loves sharing this because on the group calls that we do with our coaching clients, he jumps on, he starts talking. Everyone wants to ask him all these questions because he's done so well. So, Gene, thanks for jumping on and having a chat with me today.
Thank you, Clint, for having me today.
All right. Now, we're having a laugh here, guys. You're going to enjoy this interview because Gene and I, we can laugh about stuff now because a lot of stuff is behind him, a lot of the stuff he was going through. And, our personalities come back and we're back to our old self. We're back to that true sort of true personality that exists when the pain goes away. So we might have a laugh here and so on. So hope you enjoy this interview. So, Gene, tell us, give us, before we go into the sort of dredge through the past, just give us a before and after, like a moment in time in the past when you were struggling really bad compared to how you are today getting out of bed or moving around or whatever it is.
When I first met you and joined the program, the thing was like, my wife used to pick me up from the ground, basically. I couldn't get up on my feet properly, or I had to hold on things. I always needed to be close to a wall or furniture or anything to be able to get up from the ground. Walking was a challenge. Waking up in the morning was a challenge. Going to bed, obviously, we know that disease, so it kind of like goes away and fade away. I will say, don't go away, fade away at night because you get more mobility. So obviously, you kind of feel better at night, but I was in a very bad shape. Trying to just to feel better. I'm also soccer, football, wherever people in the world are, coach. So I need that mobility, and where I was very, very challenging for me. The hardest part, I will say, is mentally also, like, you to be able to accept it, because I was training like a professional athlete. I always put my pride to say I'm very fit, and I always want to be fit because I train young players, and the look of the coach and the fitness of the coach is very important. So I was completely disoriented and lost. So mentally was a hard challenge. Plus, because you hit the ground, you also mentally go into like a little depression. So that's hard. Plus, I have two children, and then not be able to carry them with my hands, to be able to take my daughter from the crib in the morning, or just to take her to the bath, or take her out of the bathtub after a bath at night or during the day, was something very challenging for me and very hard to accept. But then when you accept that you're in this condition, you always hope that maybe somehow you're gonna get better or feel better. And then so that's how bad it was, walking for me down the hallway to go and throw the trash that my wife spared me, doing all these little trips. But I live with all this pain of not being able to enjoy being a father, of like be around your kids, be able to run, be able to carry them. And also just I like to cook, so I'm the one cooking home. So for me, cooking and even waking up in the morning with so much pain like that, to be able not to be able to make breakfast to the children, was very hard. Not holding a pen, holding a knife, or not able to cut or anything. Like was very, everything was very painful. Like my hands were swollen, like huge balloons. Grabbing things was very challenging. Even brushing my teeth, uh, like washing my face in the morning with soap, with a glove. Old school. I'm sorry, I'm old school. So just to wash my face, brushing my teeth, or hanging my towel over the door or over the dry stand was completely impossible. Was was very hard. Like the pain, and sleeping at night was terrible. Pain in the neck, pain in the hip, pain in the shoulder. Pain in the knee. Obviously, my knee was at the level of like, I don't know, like I had a huge balloon over my knee. My right ankle also was completely changed shape. I couldn't see the veins, couldn't see bones, nothing on these two specific area. So that's how bad it was. Now, if I have to say into today, right? You will say today. um, I mean, because of the work, and I hope. I mean, if you ask me if we talk about it later or follow exactly what you've been telling us all to do, right? As a suggested method, I'm able to now. I'm riding my bike. I can carry my children, lift them up, both of them. I can go on my knee, have them on my back, doing the horsey, like my daughter says, and be able to cook, get so much more efficient now in the kitchen, moving stuff here or around, and didn't want my wife to be helping me cleaning the dishes or even making food. Very much more like autonomous now, of like, I don't need no help. And then handling things are getting so much more convenience. And then again, like you say, regain the personality, also the joy, the happiness. That's also something that's hard to get back. But I'm a very happy guy, and I'll make fun. A lot of people say like you should be doing comedy or be a comedian because you always have a very high sense of humor. But it's French humor, so I don't know. Not everyone understand it, but it's like yeah, you feel better. So it's true that now, unfortunately, sometimes you have like, and I have to accept that sometimes you have like days where you have a little bit of pain and you're going back to that mood where you're very very unapproachable, I would say, right? But then it's just a phase, and I still have those days, unfortunately, that now like it just remind me, and that's actually a good way because it reminds me how bad I was and how good I will feel like as soon as I just change something across the day, And by example, as soon as I feel bad, I just go downstairs. I tell my wife, I say, I'll go for a ride and ride my bike around the block. And I come back, I'm a different person.
How's the football been affected? When we first started, you were not demonstrating anything because it's too painful. You couldn't balance enough. How has your football coaching changed?
And now, as a soccer coach, I'm able to show skills. Before, I used to, if I wanted to use my right foot because of my left leg, I used to hold myself on players or sometimes on the fence to be able to have that balance and then demonstrate something with my foot. The passing also, how to pass the ball or change because my right ankle was so swollen that I couldn't really pass the ball. And now one day I've got, after a couple of months, I made some change, and my son came out and he's like, "Is that you passing the ball to somebody?" I'm like, "Yeah, why?" He's like, "Oh, why is that you? Because you passing the ball so hard." I say, "Well, as a matter of fact, I feel like I can do it." So I found myself doing and showing a little bit more foot skills, with kids, especially with the left leg. Um, the right leg, well, is okay, but the left leg now, I have like full balance on my left leg completely, and then so I'm able to control the ball, make a pass over again. I still look, I'm not, I wouldn't say that I'm 100% back, like, but it's still got improvement. So because of that, now, I mean, just like I'm able to operate like a soccer session uh, in a better way than I used to, Like before, I was completely staying by the fence over there and I was just talking, not be able to process a pass or anything, nothing. And then even the morning, just to put my shoes on in the morning was like a super, super hard challenge, like not able to fit the foot into the shoe without laces and super wide shoe. Like it was completely impossible. So yeah. I mean, obviously at my work, I also coach tennis too. And then now I'm able to hold the racket, make some shots, forehand, backhand. You know, that's holding the hopper of balls. which is something I was not able to do.
Mm.
I mean, just drinking my bottle of water was a challenge. Just to hold a bottle like that was a challenge, you know. So that was really, and then the fatigue too. Also, like that was causing after 2 or 3 hours of doing session with players, I was completely tired, exhausted. And now suddenly, like I still keep that routine of like, I don't do more than 3 hours a day, 4 hours, and I leave my house saying like, oh, it's gonna be long, it's gonna be long. And then when I'm on the field, I'm going back to actually feel good. I could have put like another hour today, you know, and that's a good feeling. Also, diet wise, like I'm not really so much focused and worried about my food now. I eat well in the morning, or I just use those method of juice, and I can last long as I bring water with me and maybe some little snack. I take my little pills in the morning, and boom, I'm ready to go. So every time now, I'm like, wow, I can do. And I finally asked my son yesterday because he was always coming with me to train me and help me as my assistant on the field, um, and he was just training with them and not really with me. And today, since he's back from vacation, and for those 3 weeks, I worked out hard. I just told him, said, tomorrow we're going to the field together. He's like, are you going to train me? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to train you. So the motivation comes back because you know you can do way much more than you were able to. And that's a total change, total change.
Fantastic. And we'll get into all the specifics of what you did in a minute. Obviously, people are going to be wanting as much detail as possible. But just to clarify, how is the knee now in terms of looking at it? The ankle, you mentioned both of those were really swollen so that you couldn't see any definition in those areas. How are they now to touch in terms of heat, in terms of pain, and how do they look?
Oh, so the knee in the morning now coming off the bed usually it takes time. It was always like because obviously the legs is like still the whole night, so it wasn't really big, but it was still like big. So the knee now and the feeling in the morning touch my bone. I see the holes inside completely, like around the curve of the by the muscles joining the knee and the by the ligaments over there. So I'm able to see that when I massage it, in the morning. I mean, just feel it. Like, I feel bony. Like I feel like how my knees got like I wasn't able to do that. Around my knee, I had like pockets of fluids. Yeah, help me with that. Yeah, fluids.
Fluid, yeah.
I don't feel them anymore. Sometimes I touch my knee at the end of the day where my knee was sometimes boiling hot. Here, last time I touched my knee, I'm like, well, 1 second, this one is cold. It's actually the one that was actually big. And I touched the other one, is like, it's cold too. So both of them are cold. Like they're not longer hot. My ankle shrinked. Okay. So I also proceeded a whole bunch of additional stretching that you told me to do also. I'm working on that. I feel better. It's just like I still have the little bit of fear, but my ankle just changed also, like across the whole time, because I wasn't able to see the start of the bone from the toes, which now I see it. So it's just like the little surrounding the ankle, but in the morning looks very good, and I can see even the veins stepping out from my toe, from my foot, and it stays along the day. And it's just like now there's still a little portion, but during the day I'm walking very, very fine. Like I caught myself telling my wife the other day, I walk, and she's like, "No, you sure you don't want to take the car?" I said, "Yeah, I walk, I come. I walk, I come." So yeah, just and then that also in terms of the walk, if I have to say, because of the improvements now. Before I used to walk with my head down, looking down constantly because of every single differences of grounding was terrifying to me, and also so painful because my feet had a hard time to adapt. And now I just walk on grass or like fancy ground, and I still have that fear in the beginning, but as soon as I walk in, boom, that's it, I'm gone. So my body is able to now to adjust and adapt to the different, grounding. So, So
Mm.
that's massive. Like I can walk in the street like that now, and not longer like that. You know. So yeah, no, so this on my knee was my knee feels so much better. I can bend it completely all the way down to my heel, to all the way to my back. And then, if I have to mention a little precision about that, like I remember seeing my doctor, my rheumatologist, who had told me that you my knee will have like some uh, bad reaction over the time, and I will not be able to bend it. And I'm like, okay, and now this is where I am. Same thing for my hands. I had hands like that, couldn't close my hands, couldn't grab anything, was grabbing like things like with fingers. And now, if I have to demonstrate, I show it to you, like right there. I'm ready to punch again, like I used to do a lot of exercise, a lot of boxing, a lot of different sports, and I'm able to to do not have pain on the wrist and do not have pain on the joint. I'm able to grab things. Last time I find myself cleaning the whole gym we have in the building. There was like weights of like 45 pounds on the ground, and I was lifting them up like this and carrying them on the stand just to organize the room. And I was like, okay, no pain. So that's
Mm.
the tremendous change. It's like
Love it. I love the detail that you go into, which is why, people gravitate to you on the calls. They want to ask you more details and clarify a few things. And it's inspirational, when you hear your story, because you did all of this without medication.
zero. The only thing I was given was hydroxychloroquine that I still take like 200 or 100, but I was prescribed 400, which is a lot, which I never took. The only reason why I'm taking this, I'm also like a little freaked out because I have children, and then to have like, since I know I have like an immune system, probably like that changed over the years. This helps for the rheumatology aspect, I will say, but also it helps for the viral part, which I'm sure not to catch anything with that, because it's actually, I don't know, well, whoever wants to believe me,
Mm.
but I have a friend who lived in Africa for years, and they've been taking this medication, and that's like to avoid to get like the yellow fever, malaria, or all these like different severe flu or disease that you can catch over there in exotic country. So that's the only reason why I stay with that. But I reduced this to 100 milligram now, and I feel like if I don't take it, it doesn't really, really, really affect me at all. Like sometimes I skip it for like 2 days. I don't see like a big difference. I just for safety reason now. Like I don't want to catch a flu. I don't think that has really much an impact, or maybe I don't know, on my rheumatology. But I'm about to cut this off. And in terms of medication, I have received all the medication that the rheumatologist has prescribed me. I never opened the box. I actually opened the box. I felt the pills. I looked at them, and I never took any. All these things that I don't really, methotrexate, prednisone, like all these folic acid, all these things that they suggest you to take, which I know it could have caused me a side effect. I'm also young, so they told me you have to take it right now in order for you not to have some bad handling when you're gonna be old. And I was always very scared, because I know about sport. I know that those are not names that it's not like an aspirin. I rather take 2 or 3 aspirin a day than just taking all these things once a day. So I was always very scared, and I said that will be the last of my decision. So I would like to explore the different routes. And yeah, I found you, Clint, and your method. Maybe my wife actually helped and contacted with you, and to find that little method that was find interesting, and then to say at least give it a try and see how they feel. And then so no medication, so ever from day one. So when I hear people they actually take medication, from what the little meeting that I heard, like every time of those meeting I was coming out and telling my wife, oh my god, there are people in worse shape than me, and they have those medications. And I'm like, well, I'm not as bad as I thought I was, but still, like, to not be able to get up from the call, I mean, from the chair after the call, like struggling, especially in the beginning of the treatment. I mean, the method is like, and but also knowing that I was not taking medication, I also felt the pain very much more maybe than other people. They actually felt a little, like uh, easy, how do you call, like, I don't know, like
Yeah.
something softer, like, yeah. For me, it was like no medication from day one. So in terms of pain, I know how it is. I know how it is.
Mm. What's your rheumatologist saying now?
I haven't seen her.
Okay, that'll be a fun visit.
I spoke to a friend of mine, doctor. He's like, "What is she saying?" I'm like, "Is she believed?" Like, I don't know. I have to set up a meeting. Last time the meeting was in January, beginning of this year. So I had told her that I was following a diet and a special program. Yeah, but you still need to take those medication. I think that has a long term. Like you can't really reverse that. I said, well, right now I'm in the middle of the process, so I will still take those hydroxychloroquine and then nothing else. Okay, so just let me know and keep informed. So at the next, I mean, I don't want to be so cocky. Also, like, you never know in life. Also, I mean, uh, you are the perfect proof of when we hear your story that you've been living several years like that, and you obviously. I'm not saying yet you heal, but I will say you. It's a process. It's like it's your life. It's our life. We live with that routine now. It's like I don't know if we can say we like what, like the hospital will probably tell you, oh, you completely healed, remission or all these things, like. But I will be curious to when I see her and she's gonna ask me the same test, like, oh, pull your legs back and let me see if you can touch the heel with your butt, and or if you can close on my finger, or she was putting two fingers. I was not able to do that. So now if she's gonna put one, I'm really gonna crush it. So that will be interesting. Also moving my wrist and like. And holding stuff and then going squatting and things like that. So I mean, yeah, she will be, I guess, impressed. But I will tell you this when I see her, which I haven't booked anything yet.
Yeah, that's the thing. When we don't feel the need to see a sort of a specialist medical doctor, then none of us really have much desire to go and set up an appointment just to be told, wow, you're doing amazing. The feeling of, oh, it's medical, you have to pay for it, you have to set aside the time. And then also sometimes you get a little bit of the sort of underwhelming response than what you would have expected anyway. Sometimes the rheumatologist says things like, well, you may have been misdiagnosed. It might have been actually reactive arthritis, or wow, that tiny little bit of hydroxychloroquine has an amazing effect on you, Gene. I can't believe it.
Which I never took the 400 she gave me. It's too credits.
So, there's a lot of unknowns with regards to what she might say, but like what you've achieved, and it's phenomenal. Let's talk about some of the key pillars that have been put in place in your life that were different than what you were doing prior, that have enabled you to get these really incredible results. So, talk about what you did specifically.
What I did, well, follow the diets as different, like I can't recall the name, like the different parts.
Reintroduction.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly, yeah, exactly. A reintroduction of food, etc., etc. The first weeks were awful. And I never really had a bad diet. So I was always eating very carefully, and not eating junk food here and there. Sometimes, I have kids and little how do you call this? Those hamburger, the quick, without mentioning any brand, but little hamburger, little French fries here and there. Sometimes with the kids sharing things like that. It was not every day. Plus, I had like a athlete life. So the first week following your program as well. The first week were terrible. Plus, I just introduced this right in the middle of my birthday, so I couldn't really have like a little cupcake or nothing. It
Yeah.
was hard at the time to find a vegan cake or something like that, which always contained like some bad stuff that I'm going to mention about like what I'm paying attention now not to eat. And then yeah, so I just follow the program about the food, and then the juice up in the morning, like I mean like the what was it, cucumber and celery thing. Was it?
Hmm.
Yeah, is that right? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And then yeah, just go on the plant-based diet all these times. Sacrificing everything around was hard. No oil too, also. Like
Yeah. Sacrificing.
the concept of no oil was hard. So I mean,
Hmm.
it like had the omega-3 oil that you recommend.
Hmm.
Using some olive oil, no cooked, like always like I mean like ob- obviously good quality olive oil, but like on salad and cold. That's what for me. You told me that you can, a little bit, but avoid all this. So it was hard, and then I find myself also like eating a new way, like adding the oatmeals in my diet, the lentils, all those little strong product that you recommend was something new to me. For me, oatmeal was not something very nutritious, and now I go home sometime, I'm craving for my oatmeal with fruits, So that was the diet that I follow strictly. It's hard. I have to say, it's really hard. I'm French. I like my bread and I like my butter. Not excessive amount, but just sometimes. Um and then not able to pick some snacks sometime, like a little slice of bread or 2 or 3 chips. Like I mean, I'm talking about snack food, but bad food, junk food. But I always like. And then that's for the diet. So I follow very precisely what you put us through, right? Because it's like it's at first it's very it's just really hard. And then also the starting with the stretching was really hard in the beginning. I'm not going to lie that because you're in so much pain, try to pull legs and things like and fingers and wrists and going, and then I saw all your curriculum about like different stretching routine that you suggesting. That was really hard. But then the activity is immediately like going on the stationary bike. I start with this. I couldn't really do like 2 circle without having pain in my left hip, pain in my left knee, pain in my right ankle, pain everything. I was doing like you had suggested to do 10 minutes. So the first time I did 10 minutes, I was in horrible pain. And then every day after 10 minutes, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna force myself to stay 20 minutes on it. And I have it. I even told you in one of the meetings, I said I'm not doing 10, I'm doing 20. Because I really want to get some result. And plus I like to be on the bike, but it was so hard also just to be able to ride. I mean to ride, to pedal, right? And with so much pain, I couldn't do more than a mile. Like nothing 20 minutes, like I couldn't do more than a mile. And then yeah, and then starting with the pull up. I mean the stretching like with the shoulder, the back, also the upper back, and then and that's it. Like after I always been in the gym, so I have the knowledge of like as a coach to I know a couple of movement that I was adding to. I was also doing extra work on stretching and pulling weight with my left knee after the bike, trying to stretch. That's never been fun. And then yeah, after I will say after 2 3 months, feeling better on the bike, still like pulling here and there. And then I mean, if I have to compare to what I'm doing now, like now I'm 20 minutes. I push myself to do like 5 miles in 20 minutes, and I'm like resistance number 5. and I can do 20 minutes resistance number 5 like this, which before was resistance number 1. It was hurting so bad. Even I had like the torque of the bike was even carrying me too fast, because sometimes like on the, and then the pull up too, like I couldn't really, couldn't grab the bar and nothing. So it was very, 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 very hard and challenging for me. And today I just am able to do some pull ups, which I was never able to do it ever in my life. I can pull myself from the ground like this without my feet touching the ground. And then yeah, I just that I followed the process exactly by the letter. Like, I was not really commenting or anything about like the gym, because this is something I feel comfortable with. But it was like the hard part was actually, the hardest part for me was to disconnect from the sofa to go to the gym. And if it's just a short path, I live in the building. Luckily, we have like a gym inside the building, so it's nice. But then, luckily, just to go from the sofa or from the house to the gym, that was the hardest for me. Not to meet anybody to talk. I like to talk. But after, as soon as I was in the gym, I knew I was there for like an hour. And I also changed my diet, because I knew at some point I was going before my oatmeal, and then after I just changed my diet also, putting the oatmeal just to have like enough strength, because I felt like my body needed some more to be able to stay that hour in the gym and then do extra exercise. And then I need my oatmeal with fruits, and then a little bit more consistency in my stomach. And that's it. And today, like, I remember you say like stationary bike, not able to bike. And now, like, every single time I'm on my bike, I'm going to work with my bike now. I carrying my soccer balls on the back like this, like that I grab right away and I put on my back, and up I jump on my bike, and I still get a little fear and all that's coming away. But last time I was able to pedal, to ride my bike without the hands, something that I could never really imagine I was able to do. So yeah, I mean, like now I'm always on my bike, my stationary bike, change into my regular bike now. So that's that. I mean, if that answer the question you asked me, like, yeah, I follow the process by the letter, and then I start finding change. I will say after 3 months, I start feeling something different, and then I really, after the fifth month, is like when something was happening. And this is why the reason why I also decided to continue with you for another 6 months, because I knew if after 5 is only changing something now, then I need to do more. So I'm like, okay, let's just finish, because I would like to make sure I'm on the right path until the end. And maybe I will sign for another 6 months. I don't know. Talk about it.
I remember when you first started doing the stationary bike, it doesn't feel that long ago, it's fresh in my mind.
October.
And it, for those people listening who only watch Gene now talking about how he is today and so forth, I can assure you that there was a lot of doubt, a lot of skepticism, a lot of frustration, a lot of uncertainty, and a lot of trust in the process, because you were in a really bad way, and you and your wife had to ponder and think carefully around, should we go down this path? Should we invest in our health in this capacity? And this was not a case of everything just fell into place from day one. You had to work at it, work at it, work at it. You had to come to terms with adjusting, not just to some significant workouts, but also to a way of, eating that was very foreign to you. And so it has been a very big shift in the way that you were going about things. So people ought to know that the results came through a tremendous amount of persistence and effort.
I have compliments sometimes from people, like they see me, people from the building, they're stopping me now in the streets or in the building, asking me, what happened to you 3 months ago? You couldn't walk. and now you're riding your bike and you're playing with your children. What happened to you? And then the guy last time is like, you're a source of motivation or inspiration. That's what he told me. I never wanted to give up, like it was hard. Like, I mean, trust me, to be honest with you, clean today. And if I have to say this to people, you're like, what have I got myself into? If this thing is really going to work, what if it's not going to change anything? So it's hard in the beginning, like you say, like a lot of frustration, like not knowing where you're going, when you're investing that money, when you don't know what going to be the outcome, and then here we are today. I'm like, wow, that's a good thing. Not, I mean, I always praise your program, like now to other people, and whenever I explain my story or tell my story, and they're like, what? I even spoke to a friend of my doctor today, like, wait, plant-based diets and exercise. I'm like, that's so basically what I'm supposed to do. That doesn't look so complicated, With what I don't mention the additional like food, what do you call this? Food supplement that we take and you suggest and you recommend also. But no, I mean, like those are natural things. It's not like you're prescribing drugs or any, or like those doctors. So it's just like, yeah, it's just diet and exercise, and people are like, I'm stunned, like it's unbelievable. But yeah, it's like yeah, like you say, the frustration is definitely something that get into you, and you don't know if you're gonna see the way, the outside of the tunnel, like you think there is no light. You're going in there, you so desperate at some point, and I was, and you say like my wife was completely lost into seeing my husband like that, completely falling apart. So yeah, no, I mean, thank
Mm.
you. Like I say, today I have the result, and I always remember what you always told me. Like, I'm trying to gain 1% a day. I'm not lying to you. I was trying to get 2% a day, but I couldn't. I
Mm.
couldn't, because I was getting 2% one day and then to lose another percent one day, for the following day. Because it was like almost like, you get 2%, we give you 2%, but we're going to take it back because you're only supposed to take 1% a day. And then I mean, like, no, I mean, and also I mean, I forgot to mention that, but also the sleeping, the neck pain, the shoulder, the hip was awful. Like, not even able to put my head in a certain way, and now everything is gone. I sleep perfectly. I fall asleep on my back of where I was falling asleep, and like a baby, and so I'm like, wow, this is such a tremendous change, because the sleep is also important. That be able to sleep or sleep with pain has a major impact on you and your health, your mentality, your what you call your mood. Your mood.
Mm. Okay, one of the last questions I'll throw at you here. What what were you doing all of this for? Like, what was your big reason to wanting to put in all of this effort? And I don't think I've ever asked you this, but was it because you felt that your career was threatened? Or was it because you felt that if someone else can do it, I can do it too? But what was it specifically, or what were some of the reasons that you thought, I'm going to keep doing this no matter what until I get the result that you now have?
Nothing about my career, to be honest with you. My career has nothing to do with that. I find out that I have because I watched a Walt Disney movie, a beautiful movie that is called Soul, and then it's about finding a purpose in life. And my purpose for me is to be a father. And I always thought all my life to be perfectly in shape the day where I was going to have maybe some offsprings. And then, yeah, Darth Vader says that. And then, and then I was just like, okay. And my son is active. My daughter is active. So the real reason is behind, and maybe you don't know, and since we never spoke about it, is really to be able to be an active father. All this frustration, not be able to play with them and do things. Today I was like on the monkey thing, right, with them, and try to. I wanted to go with my daughter up there, because I saw her going. And then my son's like, Papa, you coming? And I'm like, I could maybe in the morning. You don't have to see me first. Let me train first. But the purpose was to be able to show them that I was able to fight until the end. And to be honest with you, you're going dark. You're going into all these little very dark thoughts. The only thing that kept me fighting so much was my children. And then I was during those 3 weeks, my son was away, with my daughter at the grandparents' house. I was able to go on the treadmill and start jogging again. Funny, right? I hold myself, but I can lift up my feet from the ground. And I recorded. I showed this to my son, and I saw him like a tear coming out of his ear. It's like, yeah, I mean, I'm getting a little emotional now, but it's just, I know he wants that. He wants Papa to be on the field with him, and then he was just happy. He's like, "That's good. It's good. Keep doing it, Papa. Keep doing it." So coming from him, I'm like, yeah. I mean, I have to kick his butt at some point. So I'm gonna have to. That's my only reason. And my daughter also starting to be active a little bit more with sports. So hopefully, so I'll be able to just to do that for them. It's like the only reason.
Mm.
But also, my goal was also to be able to carry them. So I have the picture, and I always wanted to show you that I have them on my back. I'm on my knee, which is something I could never do. I get up like this and like Godzilla, right? And then I'm also able to take them, which sometimes now my daughter, she feels my arms, and because obviously my body changed shape of doing all these other extra exercise. And they're like, "Oh, Papa, you're strong. Can you pick me up from the ground?" And again, and again, and again. And yesterday, I was able to carry my son like this with both arms, and even like with my hands like that, like you hold the baby. So that's the only reason why I'm doing this.
It's interesting how powerful it is when we're doing something for people that we love, especially little innocent kids. You know what I mean?
Mm.
It we want to have them uphold the image of us as their parents, that we're there for them, we're solid, we're strong, we can take care of them. They need that. And that's a very powerful motivator. So, congratulations. Amazing. Love it. We've said this many times before, but well done. It is inspirational, and keep up the amazing work. And thanks for sharing to a wider group rather than just sharing on our regular coaching calls that we run. And so I want to thank you for putting in all that hard work, and now being the inspirational one of the inspirational people in our community. So thanks, Gene.
No, but thank you to you. I mean, job is not over. I don't consider this over. You're gonna see my face again. And then I'm happy to not to follow more of your program, and even more, and then even to be able to help these people. Like I find out last time I was just talking to people, and to be able to help these people really helped me, because I wish I would have had someone talking to me, like beside you.
Mm.
And someone, and we had like a couple of people I remember in the group able sometimes to mention things. But it's true, like everyone lives in so much pain and suffering and depression, and we all suffer from that. And yeah, and then having just you telling us that you're gonna feel better and things like this sounds like a perfect dream. And even now, just to be able to be part of this podcast with you, and sometimes those group, and having people asking me questions, I'm like, wow, I'm very happy to, in life they say to share the positive around you. And I think that just helped people so much, because I wish I would have had that a little bit more, like just those meetings are hard because you're suffering and you hear all these stories and all. But I mean, I'm just doing it for you, for also these people, and wherever that can help. I'm happy to share my inspirational story, but also thanks to you for putting me on the right path, and I mean my wife and I on the right path, because it was a very difficult path.
Mhm.
Well, thank you, Clint, for for your, I say, joy. Always like having. I mean, you sounded real. First I first met you, you sounded unreal. I'm like, is this guy really legit or is he really serious or something? And then over the years, we start to know you and we see result, and we get to like you. So it's my time also to compliment you, if you don't mind, because you're such an inspirational person to us. And then decide that we born the same day, and but also no, thank you very much for everything that you brought me, and I know you brought all these people, I'm sure, and you helped thousands of people, and but I can only speak for myself today. So you're part of that. I wish I will have you next to me to hold you in my arms or to give you a proper hug, because you are the reason also how I feel better, and why, why now for my kids only. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Gene. That's very touching, and I appreciate that very much. And of course, you're more than welcome. It's what we started doing this for many, many years ago, my wife and I. So one day we will meet in person, and we'll have that hug, and then we can kick a football around. Okay?
Right. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you. Okay.